Pterodactyl here. Today's video is going to be on this here 44-inch Swisher tow behind mower that I got for free. That's right, I got it for free. Somebody gave this to me. So we're going to check it out a little bit before we delve into why it won't run. And one of the things I want to do is look at the blades. It's a rear discharge mower, so it shoots the grass out the back. And looky here, wow, looky here. It's got a set of brand new blades on there. Look at that. Still got the paint on the edge. Haven't even been used. Two brand new blades. All right. Another thing I want to look at is the belt. So I'm going to pull this cover off here. And let's take a look at the belt. That came off. Oh, that one's a little hard coming off. There we go. Let's put my spectacles on. All right. Belt don't look too bad from what I could see. I'm going to engage the blades, and that's done by this lever here. Belt's tight. So it looks like we'll get this thing running. Should be able to cut grass with it. That idler's free. All right, good deal. Put this back on, then we'll take a look at the engine and figure out why it won't run. Now we're ready to delve into the engine, so let's see if it's got oil or dinosaur syrup, as I like to call it, in there before we go tugging on it. And it looks like it does. Oh yeah, it's a little bit low. And it looks fairly clean too. Plastic tank, no gas in it. And looking at the code date, the first two digits are 00, so this is a 2000. This engine was manufactured in 2000. This unit may have been sold in 2001. So it's got an on and off switch over here, but I believe it's disconnected because over here it's got a toggle switch that says on and off. And I don't even think this is hooked up correctly because one of the terminals on the end doesn't have anything on it. And if you know anything about a switch, when it makes a contact, you know, when you flip it on and off, both contacts got to make a connection. And then this wire is disconnected from this safety module. That's what this is, a safety module. Probably so you don't accidentally start it if the blades are engaged. And it looks like somebody had disconnected this. Let's take a peek in the carburetor. Oh, wow. Look at this. Now, there's supposed to be another knob on here to hold this down, and then the cover goes on, and that's the knob that holds the cover on. So as you could tell, this thing had been sucking in a bunch of dirt. And this is all trashed. And it looks like there's some dirt in here. That's not good. Depending on how much dirt it ingested, this thing may smoke. Now the next thing to do would be to check it for spark. So let's get our handy dandy light up spark tester. See if we got spark and compression. It lit up there. And it feels like it's got compression. Alright. So it may just have a carburetor issue. Make sure that's on there. Put my spark tester away. So we got some carb spray which doubles as starting fluid. But it's got to be the good carb spray. There's some carb spray that it won't. This trick won't work. But this CRC in the red can does. Let's see if it'll run and die. Oh, there's a throttle right here too for fast and slow. Oh, a little pin came out. So there's fast all the way back and choke. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. Okay, so now we know it's a carburetor issue. All right, let's take a peek inside the carburetor, see what we got to deal with. This thing was outside. I hope the carburetor's not ruined. Well, bowl nut, got rust on it. And looky there, full of rust, which means there was water in there. So we did a post on our channel, the YouTube community, where we sandblasted these bowls, and a lot of you grass rats out there, I don't think you understand how things work. Because there were a bunch of comments about the plating and how I ruined the float bowl by sandblasting it and taking the plating off. I don't know if you noticed that float bowl was already rusted. Moisture had already rusted through the plating. So the plating didn't do any good. You kind of skimmed over that little part, or your little peepee little eyeballs didn't see that. That plating doesn't do anything. I've been sandblasting these float bowls forever. I've never had a rash of them come back because they were eaten through. Because you know what? Gasoline doesn't eat through the float bowl. Water does. Moisture. That's what eats through the float bowl. That's what creates rust. This is a metal bowl. Making any sense to you now? I don't know why there were a bunch of comments about that, calling me a hack and everything else. Yeah, I'm a hack because I sandblasted a float bowl. You ever look at this shirt? It's a lawnmower. It's not the space shuttle. Sandblasting a float bowl isn't going to hurt anything. And then some comments were you going to replate it? Why? Why would I replate it? Doesn't do any good. That plating does nothing. It's not going to help the engine run any better or any different. So let's clear that up about the plating. All right, grass rats, plating means nothing. So I'm probably going to clean this one by sandblasting it. Oh, the hack! He's going to hack it up, and there's going to be, that float bowl's going to rust out, and there's going to be gas everywhere, and there's going to be a fire, and oh, the tragedy, the travesty, oh, because he sandblasted that float bowl, and I told him not to sandblast that float bowl. I knew this was going to happen. Yeah, if we were pouring battery acid in the gas tank instead of gas, it might eat through it. Knuckleheads. All right, so let's pull off the carburetor, get it cleaned up, put a new air filter in it, put new fuel lines on it, because this air filter is shot too. And then we'll go from there. Let me get this off, take this all off. This fuel line is hard as a carp. Get the gas tank. Oh, it's got an oil leak over here we want to take care of. I'll show you how to fix that. That little rubber grommet for the dipstick tube. See how it's not sealing? We'll either put a new one on, or I can show you a way of tightening it up. Oh, that nut's turning. Get this fuel tank off.
Travesty. Ruined it, that hack. I'm never watching another one of his videos. Once I seen him sandblasted, protective coating. It didn't protect anything. All bets are off.
Little clips here. Now we need this. Got to use this over, because that helps protect the fuel line from melting. This little steel tube. And what hardware is holding this? Got the Torx heads. Okay, I got the 2 screws loose, because I got a screw loose. Pull that choke link out. Undo the throttle link here. If I can get it off of there, I'll take it off of this side. Here we go. I don't want to stretch that little spring that's on it either. What I do with those needle nose. Alright, we got that off. We got her off. Woo! Woo! That don't look too bad. Alright, let me put it in my parts washer. We'll give it a good scrubbing. So here's a little trick to getting some fuel line off, because a lot of times this little plastic fitting will get brittle, and then you're trying to tug on this thing and you end up breaking that, and then that makes for a bad day. So you get Mr. Heat Gun. Hi, Mr. Heat Gun.
Hi, Taryl. What do you want me to heat up today?
I want you to heat up some fuel line. I want you to warm it up a little bit.
All right, will do. I got you, buddy.
All right, so start blowing your stinky breath on that fuel line.
I sure will. How's that?
All right, let me try. I'm going to set you down.
Okay, set me down.
No. Put some more stinky breath on there.
You got it.
Be careful, don't melt it, Mr. Heat Gun.
Don, I know what I'm doing.
You know what? I'm just going to cut it off.
Okay, cut it off.
'Cause that wasn't working. Your stinky breath didn't work too good that time. We're throwing this away anyway. That was really hard. Harder than a regular carb. Alright, I'm going to put you away. You didn't do me any good this time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time.
I'm putting you away. It does work though sometimes. Especially if you're trying to save it. Since we're not saving that, we just cut it off. Alright, I'm going to drive this little pin out because it's not moving free. I need a little punch. So we can get the float off. I need a little pair of side cutters here. Now this carburetor is basically the same carburetor that was on the Ride King that I had to do a rebuild on. It's got the rubber tip, and I could tell that that rubber tip is starting to come off. So we'll put a new needle and seat in there. And you always need to get that center nozzle out, because if that center nozzle is got a bunch of crap on it, it's not going to run too good. This stuff here on the leg really isn't going to hurt anything. You can take a little wire brush. But this wire brush got a bunch of crap in it. Kind of clean it up. I think the one on the Ride Master was even worse. Or Ride King, Ride Master. That's a different machine. On that Ride King, I think I ended up having to boil that one out. I had to put that in the ultrasonic cleaner. This one, I think I can just get away with cleaning it. As long as I can get that center nozzle out. So I'm going to take a tap. 5/16, 32 is this one. Is that the size? No. 5/16, 28. That's the size. Just kind of chase it as far as we can. That way, if we can get it to break loose, those other threads will be somewhat clear. Now let me get my special screwdriver. This Irwin. See how that one fits. You really got to give it a lot of pressure. You may not be able to get it out. This one I don't think it's going to come out. It already started to break it. May just have to clean it as best we can. Otherwise I got to drill it and tap it, and I got to order another nozzle. I don't have time for that. Spray a little WD in there. Like I did on the other one, I'll try warming it up a little bit. You don't want to warm it up too much because you can melt the aluminum. Sometimes that'll get it to leach down in there and possibly get it to break loose. Not all the time, but sometimes. But I think I already ruined it. That's what happens. Sometimes you ruin it. Well, let me just try cleaning it the best I can. Fingers crossed, it'll run good. Maybe not. So now I'm going to pull out this seat which is pressed in. Now I made a homemade tool And this is just a spacer. And this is a 1/4-20 self-threading screw or self-tapping screw with a 1/4-20 nut on it. So the trick is to find a sleeve that fits over the outside of that seat. And then you put the self-tapping screw in there because it makes its own threads. And it'll start cutting threads into that seat. Some of y'all may have seen me do this before. Make sure you get it to bite in there a good amount of threads. And then it works like a jack. And you just take the nut, and when you tighten the nut down, it's a little crooked. We back it off so I can get this down. All right. Now when you tighten the nut, it'll draw out that seat that's pressed in there. Isn't that slick? There you go. There's your dinner. There's the seat. Drug it right out. Now you just take a pair of pliers and a wrench and get that off of there so you can reuse your tool another day. Then you got to drive in or press in the new seat. Now I had this tool made, but you could use a piece of wooden dowel rod because it's hard to tap it back in. But we're going to clean that out some, blow it out. And I'll go get a new needle and seat. Stay tuned. So here's the needle and seat. Here's the part numbers. Did you get them? If you didn't, too bad. I'm only joking. Jeez, you're so sensitive. Stick that in there. And I'll take it over on the vise, somewhere solid where I could tap it in. And let me get the float and the little pin. So we can make sure we got our right float level. Usually want it to stick up a little bit. You don't want to drive it too deep because then you're going to have to pull it back out again. See if I get lucky. Will this thing slide in now, or am I going to have to clean that thing out too? It's not sliding in there like it's supposed to. Yeah, it's still a little high. See how high it is? We want it level. We're real close. But I didn't want to drive it in too far. Let me get something to pull that pin out. Drive that down a little further. There we go. That's what we want. Just like that. Nice and level. I got to get that pin to slide in there better. I may have to run a little drill bit through there and get these little nicks off of here that I put on there with the side cutter. That's why it's handy to have a drill gauge. So 3/32 is the drill I'm going to need to kind of run through that those legs for the hinge for the float. See if I got a 3/32 drill bit. That's not broken. I just put the drill in a tap handle. We don't need to run it in a electric drill. We just need to do that. It's just a bunch of crud in there. There we go. That's what we want.
He just ruined that carburetor. He just ruined it by sticking that drill in there. Wait till Briggs and Scranton find out. They're gonna be mad.
So I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully make some of y'all mad by sandblasting that float bowl. Yeah! So munch on this, grass rats. This little snack I'm gonna give you. Alright, the reason I'm sandblasting that float bowl and showing you that trick is, what if you got a piece of antique equipment and the float bowl is all rusted and you can't get a new float bowl? What are you gonna do? Sandblast it, clean it up, make it look like new again. And Takumish float bowls and a lot of other manufacturers use aluminium. So aluminium doesn't need any kind of so-called protective coating on it because it's made out of aluminium. That doesn't rust, but it does corrode. Now those float bowls I've seen where they had moisture in it and it actually corroded and ate through the float bowl. I've seen that on the aluminium ones, but I have never seen one of these metal bowls come in that's just been rotted out in the bottom. I'm sure it's happened, but geez, it would have to have a lot of water in it for a long time for that to happen. You don't know, you're a hack! You're just ruining it! Stop it! Stop sandblasting that bowl! Stop it now! There it is. All nice and clean, protective coating all gone. Just what I wanted. Stupid protective coating. I'm going to take brand new engines, and when they come in, I'm just going to take the float bowl off and sandblast that coating off right away because it's bothering me, knowing that there's a coating on there. Mostly, you'll probably keep the outside of the bowl from rusting. And since they're dipping it, it's just the whole thing gets dipped. Well, might as well just dip the whole thing there, Bob. A little bit on the inside ain't gonna hurt of that so-called protective coating that really doesn't do anything except protect the outside. All right, let me get a bowl gasket. We'll put it all back on. Fingers crossed. Okay, let's address this before we go putting the tank and stuff back on. So I'm going to take this tube out. Huh. What size is that screw? Thought it was 1/4 inch. It's like recessed in there. Somebody really, they did a number on this. I can't get that off. The socket won't grab it because they drove the screw halfway through the plastic part, so that's why I can't grab it. It needs to have a washer put on it once I put it back together. I don't know if I got anything that can grab it. Let me try these new pliers I got from a Taryl fan. These things are pretty neat, these adjustable pliers. Maybe I can grab it with this. Oop, I don't want to go too big and I won't be able to get closed up. These things got a good fight to them. Oh, look at that. We're turning it. Thanks, Dennis. Your pliers are working. There we go. Woo! Those work good. All right. So it's got this rubber grommet in there. You can buy a new one if yours is all damaged, because it just screws in there. But a lot of times, to get it to seal better, see if this will take this out. It's screwed in there, and this one's damaged. So we'll put a new one in. I've got them. But sometimes, if it's not really ruined, you can just tighten it. If you can get it to turn and tighten in a little more, it'll squeeze this tighter, and you can get it to reseal. That's a trick. You can just tighten it up a little bit more. But this one's bad. Seems to have left some of that rubber in there too. So here's the new Dipstick Seal. And in case you want the part number, the Briggs number is 281370, S as in snot. Rotary makes it 8789, and Stens makes it 125-334. So it just screws in there. And then you put the tube in there. See how tight it fits now? It's nice and tight. But I gotta put this back on first. But it was easier to show you. And then that'll seal that up good. Alright, let me put this back on. And run the new fuel line and put the carburetor on and fill it with some dinosaur juice. See if this thing will run. Or am I going to have to drill out that main nozzle? So this screw that they use has got a little shoulder on it. And I don't like that, because the tube isn't really being held tight against the cover because of that shoulder. You know, it only goes down to the shoulder and then it stops. It doesn't really pinch it. So I like to get a bigger sheet metal screw with the 5/16 head on it. And I like to use one of them. That way when you tighten it, you can push down on it and it'll grab that plastic and you get a better seal. So I eliminate that stupid shoulder screw a lot of times when I'm fixing that oil leak. So here's 2 pieces of garbage right there. Alright, so let me get some fuel line and then we'll put that carburetor back on. So this bowl nut gasket that Briggs Brakes and Scrap 'em uses is kind of a thin and kind of a crappy gasket. So I always like to replace it with a Tecumseh gasket. And there's the part number. Because they seem to be a little bigger and a little thicker, and it's made out of a different type of gasket material. I just like it better. It seals better, in my opinion. And I'm probably going to stick it on my, while I'm running a new fuel line, I'm going to stick this on my test stand just to make sure it doesn't leak before I go through all the trouble of hooking it all back up and putting gas to it and finding out that the carburetor leaks. But that's why I made a little test stand. You may have seen me use this before. Where I just got a gas tank with some gas in it. Then I let it sit there, and if it starts leaking, then I know I did a bad job. Okay, I need to replace this spark plug terminal end. This thing is all rotted and rusted. The little clip that holds it tight on there rotted off. So I got a new one, which I got at the auto parts store. I buy like a box of them. So I just gotta, with my side cutters, try to get that off of there. There we go. Now that wire, it's a metal wire in there. It's not like a car coil where it's got like carbon. This has got regular metal that's folded over. We want that on the back. I don't have the crimping tool for this, so I just use my side cutters. Just crimp it on there. That's all you need to do. It ain't coming off. Then spray a little lubricant on the boot, and that'll help to slip it back on. See, now it snaps on like it's supposed to. That's what we want. We want to hear that snap. Okay, dinosaur juice. And let's hope it runs good. Alright, I got it all back together. New fuel line. I added a shutoff valve, an inline shutoff. So in case you're interested in that, I used the Stens one 120-212. The Briggs or Brakes and Scrap 'em part number is 698183. But I used the Stens one. Now, all of this parts and stuff that we get here, you can get from our friends at ProPartsDirect.net. And you can look up all your parts for your machine. They got parts breakdowns you can look up. So you can order your parts right from them. All right. Oops. Got full chokage? Nope. Now we do. I really had to pull back on this. And this little pin keeps wanting to pop out. I'm going to put a zip tie around that to hold that in place, keep that from popping out. That'll kind of help hold that on there, Mr. Zip Tie. All right, fingers crossed. It's got this cap or this adjusting screw or the low speed, and you know, of course, it only allows you to open it so far. So I'm gonna pop that off so I can open that up a little more. Hopefully, I won't break the screw off. See if I can. There we go. Now I can turn it, put it in this position here. Now I can open it a little more. All right, let's start it up again and see if that helps. Work. Oh, look at that. I thought it didn't work, and it does. Let me try touching, when it's running, let me try touching this wire on. They may have disconnected it because this module might be bad. Well, let's start it again and see what happens. Choke it. Blades were spinning. All right, let me get an air cleaner. We'll put the cover back on, and we'll hook this to something, a tractor or something, and go out and mow a little grass with it. What do you say? You like that? You're still not mad about the float bowl, are you, grass rats? About the plating? Don't be mad. Life's too short to be mad. Don't be mad. I love you. So before we go out and mow with it, I notice it's got these little adjusters on them, and they're kind of stiff. So I'm going to spray some lubricant on it, and I'm going to spray our Gel Lube on there, which we sell in our online store. Go to our online store. We got all kinds of stuff. We got tools and silicones and lubricants and stuff, and we got t-shirts like this one. Stickers, we got a bunch of new stickers, some real cool ones. So this is good because it's sticky, and it's going to stick to those treads on there, which is what we want. So I'm going to lube these up real good. So in case we need to adjust it, spray a little down there. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's working good. All right. So I'll set a depth before we go out and mow with it. See how well it'll do. Take it down to about 2. All right. There we go. thing works pretty good. I got it all the way in the dirt. And it was cutting. And I already got a buyer for it. Not a bad little piece of kit for free. That's nice. So, there you have it. Didn't take much to get it going. I don't know why somebody'd want to get rid of something like that. But their loss and my gain. Hey, 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 yeah. So, subscribe to this YouTube channel, Taryl Fixes All. I'm Taryl. Go to our web store, like I said, and buy some stuff. Get this Space Shuttle shirt. You're still not mad, are you? Don't be mad. Don't be mad. I love you. I told you before, I love you guys. Don't be mad. It's just a coating on the bowl. It's nothing to get... All right. Calm down. Calm down. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Free Swisher! Toe behind! Woo! Good deal for me. I'd give it a bath. Pressure washer, make it look even better. There's your dinner.